When you create a plan of plans, you can choose to build out your single release plans first and then use those to populate your plan of plans. Or you can start with your plan of plans before those release plans have even been created. In a previous video, we showed you how to start with your plan of plans and build it out from scratch. In this video, we're going to build out a plan of plans where at least some of those release plans are already in place. So to get started, we go to the capacity planning page. We make sure that we're in the project where we want to create our plan. And here we can see all of the plans that have been created for this project. But we can also create a new plan by selecting Add New. We'll give it a name, select Plan of Plans, and our annual plan will start with Q1 and go through Q4. Next, we'll specify the portfolio item type. Remember that your single release plans happen at your lowest level portfolio item. For us, that's a feature. And your plan of plans takes place one level higher. For us, that's an initiative. You can use story points or story counts for all of your plan calculations, and I'm going to go with points. And with those selections done, we can select Continue. And now we get to select our type of plan, and there's a whole other video that helps you understand this distinction. But in a nutshell, if your project hierarchy in Rally reflects the organization of your delivery streams, and you want to roll data from your release plans up to a higher parent level in your project hierarchy, then Rollup is for you. If your project hierarchy doesn't reflect the structure of your delivery streams, or you want to create a plan of plans for teams that don't have a hierarchical relationship in your workspace, then Mirror is the way to go. I'm going to choose Rollup and create my Rollup plan. And here's our new plan. As with all capacity plans, we need to add our projects. Our teams are organized by geography, so let's add the projects for Australia, EMEA, and North America. We should also define the capacity for these projects. You're going to define capacity in your release plans for each quarter, but the capacity you define there does not roll up to your plan of plans. This is independent capacity for the scope of your whole plan, in our case, a year. Now, if your release plans already exist, you can just connect them to this plan. If they don't exist, but you don't really want to do anything else in your plan of plans until they do, go to your release planning. Let each delivery stream get together and plan like they normally do and create their capacity plans. When they're done, come back here and just connect those plans. And here we have a column for each release in our plan of plans, and that column contains a connect plan link for each project. And when you connect a plan, there are 3 ways you can do that. If your plan doesn't exist, you can create a new one from scratch. And then you're just going to go through all the typical steps you normally would for creating a brand new capacity plan. Your second option is to create a new plan from an old plan. And we're going to talk more about that in a minute. Right now, we have a plan, so we can just connect an existing plan. Here's our plan for Q1 for Australia, and we can click Connect. Now, in our previous video, we did this and our plan was just immediately connected. So what's going on here? In that video, we had already added all of our initiatives to the plan before we did this step. Remember, we haven't added any initiatives yet. So our plan of plans is super smart, and it's going to go out and find all the initiatives that are associated with the work that's in the plan that we just connected. I can select the ones I want, typically all of them, because these are already associated with this release plan. If I add to plan, all of those initiatives are now in my plan of plans. It's like magic. So as EMEA and North America complete their plans, we can add those as well. And at this point, Q1 is done in our plan. But our delivery teams aren't really in the habit of going out and creating plans for the whole year, so those plans don't exist yet. What I would recommend is to create an empty plan as a placeholder for each of the remaining quarters. Why create an empty plan? So as work progresses on Q1, how likely is it that at least some of the work is going to spill over into the next release? If you're like most teams, pretty likely. By having an empty plan, you now have a place for the work to spill over to. It's a ready-made reservoir for the work that's coming your way. The other reason I would do it is that it's pretty easy. So if I want to connect a plan for Q2 for Australia, I don't have an existing plan to connect. But I can select New Plan from Old Plan, and then I can select the Q1 plan that we just connected, And when we click Create and Connect, we're creating a new plan for Q2 that has the same teams and the same capacity for each team. It just doesn't have any work in it yet. Instant reservoir. And we can do this for the remaining releases in our plan. So as our Q1 plan progresses, let's say we aren't able to even start this initiative. No problem, at least from the perspective of our tool. We can just move it to the next release. And now it's in Q2. So this is a nice feature, but what you might see as you get through a couple of releases is that enough work is spilling over so that Q4 is already pretty full before you sit down to do your actual plan. So this provides kind of an early warning system to let you know that you should probably take a closer look at your plan, maybe reevaluate some priorities, adjust scope, steer out some of your objectives, and pivot your plan for Q4. But if you can see this problem coming when you're still in Q2, you have more time to inspect and adapt. Also, because your plan of plans is for the entire year, you can see the progress for each of your initiatives without having to drill into each release plan. That's a real benefit of having a plan of plans sit on top of your release plans, even if you choose to not really do that much of your actual planning at this higher level. It does occur to me that in both this video and our previous video, we focused on roll-up plans. So let's take a minute and talk briefly about a mirror plan. Remember that a mirror plan is used to create a plan of plans for projects that do not have a hierarchical relationship in the project hierarchy in your workspace. This could be teams that exist in different organizations, or it could just be that your project hierarchy doesn't necessarily reflect your organizational hierarchy. It could also be that you want to create an annual plan for one delivery team. And it's probably easier to just jump into the tool and see how this works. So let's add a new plan. And first I'm going to select the project where I want to create this plan. And because this is a mirror plan, I can create it anywhere in the hierarchy. We're going to start with the Australia team, so I'll create it there. Then I can select Add New, and all the options here are exactly what you've seen before. This time we'll choose Mirror and create our mirror plan. Now, when we did this for a roll-up plan, our first step was to add our projects. For a mirror plan, we don't even have to do that. If we connect a plan that includes projects that aren't in our plan of plans, those projects are automatically added. And here we have the projects from our release plan and our plan of plans. It's also worth noting that when we created our roll-up plan, we added projects that were at a higher level in our hierarchy. We added Australia, EMEA, and North America. But in this plan, we have the individual teams that will be working on this release. If we look at the connected plan, the teams that show up here are the teams that show up in our plan of plans. The hierarchical structures are irrelevant. Also notice that we can only connect one release plan for each release in the plan of plans. If we wanted to include the EMEA teams in this plan, we could do that, but we would have to add them to this release plan. And now our plan of plans has the teams from both Australia and EMEA, even though we didn't add them directly from the plan of plans. We just updated the release plan. And that's because the projects in your plan of plans mirror the projects in your release plans. If you add a project to a release plan, it's automatically added to your plan of plans if it's not already there. Also remember that a mirror plan is a superset and must contain all of the projects that are included in all of the release plans. If there are projects that are not in every release plan, they still have to be in the plan of plans. If a project is removed from all release plans, it's automatically removed from the plan of plans. As far as the principles of building out your plan of plans for the year, everything else is the same as the roll-up plan that we just created. If we're at the beginning of the year, I would still recommend building out empty release plans for the rest of the plan as placeholders for work to spill over to, and as the early warning system that we discussed. So now you know how to create a plan of plans that's based on existing release plans for both mirror and roll-up plan types. To learn more about Rally and Agile practices, check out our blog and community. Like this video and subscribe to our channel so that you'll never miss new content as it's added.